We're here. Abdul Karim, when you was working in the hospitals, what would the daily routine be for you? Or the daily week, month, what would it be like?
What it like in hospitals is depending on the time I started. So if I was in the hospital at around 7:30 in the morning, then that would be me walking into the hospital. I might do one of two things. Historically, what I would do is I used to get the information of who was referred to us on my mobile. So I'll check my mobile phone and I'll see we've got 5 or 6 people come in, stab wounds. You know.
A day?
Yeah, day, sometimes 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5. But I'll check who's in on my phone, walk into the hospital, set up my staff, like, you know, just get yourself ready, make a hot drink, because with this type of work you have to be mentally prepared.
Yeah.
It's not like you can just walk in straight in because you don't know what you're going to see, you don't know what you're going to hear, so you have to kind of prep yourself. Well, I prep myself, sure I have a hot drink, sit down, settled, and then I'll look on the list and then get the names and then look into their records. So what that might look like is, I don't know, Abdul Rahman, Abdul Rahman Smith might be 17 years old. You might just say AR Smith, ARS. It will have like a number, 17 stabbed. That's all it will say. So I would know that we've got a 7-year-old stabbed, but I don't know anything else. So this is where I will go into detail, like, okay, what about who is AR Smith, Abdul Rahman Smith? Okay, he's from this particular area. Okay, so he's been stabbed before because he'd be on his records. Okay, he's got mental health. Okay, he's in social care. Okay, he's got, severe learning needs which may put him at risk. Oh, he's a special case. So the whole of the borough, Lambeth.
So you get detailed information about him from them.
Detailed information about the individual, in order that we can make a proper assessment. Yeah, so that's part one. Or sometimes we have very little, because it might be the first time the person's been, in a situation like this. So they may be stabbed, they may be shot, but it's the first time. They might be just a normal person. Anything they've come to hospital for is an asthma attack. Alright, stop. So so that's what I'll do. Assess the situation. Then I'll go into a trauma meeting with the other nurses and doctors and all. So basically, there'll be a team collective meeting with everybody to find out who's in the hospital, who's going where, who's on the floor, and then after all that's been done.
Is this after A&E that you deal with them?
It depends. So that's, if I go in, as I said, for 7:30 in the morning, that's my process. That was the process 9 times out of 10. But what would happen is, after all of the admin stuff is done, I'm going on the wards and I'm seeing man, sometimes waking man out. I don't like to, but waking people out of their sleep and beginning that in-depth conversation around what led them to their stabbing. And a lot of times it's complex, sometimes it's pretty straightforward. I do this is the result of me doing this, i.e. I've done a lot of bad stuff in my life. I've stabbed this person, I've robbed this person.
They say this openly, yeah?
Well, the thing is that they say it to people who they trust.
See, they don't see you as a fed, so what is that basically, you're a policeman. But so, they, like, because you're a youth worker, yeah, you don't have to be there at the end of the day, and you look like them.
Yeah, they can relate to man. So it's a thing where a lot of so there's other teams like safeguarding, social services and all these people, when they come to engage, it's like this brick wall, because there's a negative stereotype and they don't have the skill. Many of them, not all, many of them don't have the skill set to engage adolescents, teenagers or young adults. And many a times it's us that trains those members of staff how to engage, right questions to ask, how to approach, how your rapport should be, skillful probing questions. So a person who might come from a social work background, they have a specific methodology they may have to go through in order to get their tick boxes, but that might be a hindrance in how they're asking questions. I've seen mental health assessment. I've had to sit on mental health assessments to support CAM work. CAMS worker stands for Child and Adult Mental Health Services. I've had to sit down on their assessments and help them speak to young people who have been stabbed, because they haven't got the ability to engage.
I cannot understand it, because they've gone, most people come from a posh background or middle class background, whatever, going to university, got this, might be a qualified doctor, know how to do surgery and stuff, But as to relating to someone from road, from a council estate,
It's many of them they try.
Yeah, of
and I
course they
respect
try,
I
of
respect
course,
them for that,
of
but
course.
they just haven't got the vernacular, they haven't got the skill set. or
they
the
might even
tools.
be intimidated by just how a roadman speaks.
And that's where the youth workers come in. I think youth work is seen as a profession where it's just, oh, you get a table tennis and a ball, you bat it, and that's it. You've played with the children. It's not play work. Youth workers actually, we're professionals. We engage. We're like social chameleons. So we might be sitting in a strategy meeting, so we'll have senior members of teams, i.e. social work, youth offending service, and we have to engage as professionals and present our cases and contribute to the safeguarding of that particular individual. You might be with parents, and that takes a different way of conversating. So you engage with a parent in a certain way so the parent feels comfortable speaking to you. Get down. You might engage with a young person, that takes a different way of communicating as well, where the young person needs to see that you understand and relate to them. So in terms of youth work, where we're very, how can I put it, we're able to navigate through different spaces. But another day I might start at,
Sorry, how do you find speaking to doctors? Obviously, you've been university yourself as well. How do you find speaking to doctors, explaining to them the council estate life, the environment they're coming from, the tests they have, the like? How do you find it? Do you find that some are eager to? Well, I guess it's varied, no?
do you know what was absolutely amazing? I've worked in schools and I've worked in hospital settings, and a hospital setting is very much more hierarchical than a school. There's a lot more hierarchy in a hospital, you know.
Okay.
The respect we as youth workers receive from senior doctors, consultant nurses, you know, consultant pediatricians was amazing, because they recognized that we added value to the service.
Yeah.
We were youth workers add values. We communicate and engage in a way that they can't.
You progressed where they couldn't.
They have their tool set, which is unique and valuable,
Yeah.
and we have our tool sets, which is unique and valuable, and they both work very
both
well together. So I found that doctors, junior doctors, some of them were a bit stuck up, like, you know, I don't get this youth work thing. And then it takes a little bit of us exerting our authority upon them for them to recognize we are a valued member of the team.
When they say we don't get it, because they feel they just come to
Yeah,
heal
or
the
you just-
person, and that's it.
As I said, that's why I said junior doctors, because they're learning the game.
Okay.
Whereas a senior youth worker, youth workers like myself, we're established, we know how to work with various other professionals.
Yeah.
It's not just about us, it's about the whole team around the child.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the junior doctors, not all, I think we are the superstars, we're above the nurses, we're above everyone else, because we are going to be, you know, administering medicine and diagnosing and things of that nature. So there was a level of arrogancy, but that comes with the territory. But alhamdulillah, we engage and we navigate past that, and it's not about that person's arrogance, it's more about how we can save the life of this young person, or not allow them to be a repeat stabbing or repeat shooting or repeat rape victim. So alhamdulillah, I mean, with every space you're going to get challenges, but that was minuscule. I mean, there are other major challenges that we'll see, like repeat he's alright, repeat stabbings, you know, and things of that nature, young people who are severely at risk. So for me, you know, a little bit of arrogance, you know, was
Occupational hazard.
yeah, it's not as easy to handle.